very much for coming. I think that it would appear weird to you to see two Italian physicians.
Italian.
Well, semi-Italian.
Semi-Italian.
Well, you fished out two semi-Italian physicians who wrote a book on your country. So the story is not difficult to tell. After the fall of the Berlin Wall, the European Union funded with a lot of money grants for the Italian and the European academics to go to the Caucasus and create ties with the local universities to improve their way of teaching and so on, because all the books, everything there was Sovietic. All the books in the libraries and the way they hadn't computers. Actually, we bought hundreds of computers and brought them there. I remember I saw only one computer it was in the dean room, and he never used it. So it was a really sad story when we traveled to these countries. Now the situation has changed a lot, but still. And so we started have a relationship with academics in these two countries, Armenia, Azerbaijan and Georgia, and we started to travel across these countries, and he started taking pictures. He's a very good photographer. Then we interact, and we started also writing on commenting these pictures, and so this book was born. And what else? I think that it is a strange book. Because it contains a lot of information concerning the old Armenia, the Turkish Armenia, and the Republic of Armenia, and so I'm sure you will enjoy reading it. You have any comment you would like to?
Yeah, sure, we hope.
Yeah.
Oh. They may like it.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you. Very nice to be here, to be in a community. This is it's lovely from my point of view to hear where we've all been born. This is a typical example of how it should be. I don't know if it'll last. I mean, the world is going crazy. We're seeing this, and we might see again unfortunate times coming even in Europe, which is very unfortunate, but the reality is getting worse and worse. Anyhow, so Guglielmo said how this started. Now, I would say I've always had a hobby of photography, and I've done a lot of books of photography. In fact, I've done more than 10. I don't purely photography. This is a different story, as you just heard.
Novelist.
There is a text here. There are 22 chapters. We'll go through this briefly, not too long, but we will go through them. Luckily, we've gone together to Armenia, for work, but we managed to visit quite a bit of Armenia. And I had the luck earlier to go more than once in Turkey. I visited Turkey very many times, again for work, but not only, also for tourism. And we went also, I say we in this case because my wife, who was there, she also came with me. Partly for work, but partly to visit. The large part of that was Great Armenia, as you know better than I do, in the older days. And we visited all that part around Lake Van, which was part of the old Armenia, Van itself, and not only, but I went on another trip, I went further up in the picture in Rome, and all the way we visit together the antique capital of Armenia. Has any of you been to Ani? Probably not. You have? Somebody have been to Ani? Well, we managed to go there. Ani is Turkish, so it's right on the border, exactly on the border, but on the Turkish side. It's a UNESCO heritage. I'll show you some pictures of it. Difficult to find. We have the Kurdish guide. That's Kurdish territory. We have a Kurdish guide. Our Turkish and our Kurdish, you can imagine, is not exactly fluent. And so we had to go with local people. And it was Ramadan, I remember, so he couldn't eat or drink during the day, so poor guy, so I was driving, that's no problem. So we managed to go to Ani, which is it's a beautiful and very sad place. You'll see the pictures, because it was an enormous city in the old days, and there's very little left despite being a UNESCO heritage. So that's how it all started, and I think the fact that gone to the part of Turkey that was Armenia, I think makes it probably more valuable. It's not only the small part. So that is how it all started. And we were thinking of maybe showing some pictures from the book. I didn't add another 6 as I told your chairman here, but I've got a certain number that more or less follow the index of the book. Shall we do it this way and start and go through it, and then...
You have to ask them, no?
Sorry?
You have to ask them, no?
Well, unless you want to change. So I think we should start it this way. Well, this you will recognize, this is Lake Sevan, so we decided to put that picture on the cover of the book. Now, where do we go? This is the index of the book. So as you can see, there are 22 chapters here. I won't read them all. You can quickly go through them, and it's a lot of locations, places, typical aspects of Armenia, like the churches and more. There's 2 chapters to the end, the last 2 dedicated to Italy, because the links with Armenia were not small. So you can see the second last is the island of San Lazzaro in Venice, and we went there, so you can picture that. That's a very interesting place. And the last one, the Church of San Gregorio degli Armeni in Naples.
Where the
skull,
the saint Gregorius, the illuminator, is buried.
Well, the skull is there.
The skull is there.
As you probably know, it's been divided in different places, and for reasons that I don't think we know, they went to Naples, and the skull is there. So Italy is linked to Armenia in different aspects. So this is just to show what, well, you probably know much more than we do, but anyhow, what Armenia is in yellow, and what Great Armenia was, which obviously was a much bigger territory. There's also in green Armenia in the Byzantine times, so that's slightly different. And here, I mean, as I told you, we visited many parts, so all around Lake Van, Erzurum up there, and you can see the capital. Can you see it up there? That's right on the border of Armenia, and you see a picture, there's a river right there, but Ani is on this side. Well, the alphabet. Armenian alphabet, I guess you know it better than we do. There are 38 letters, is that correct?
The correspondence.
Well, the correspondence with the, yeah.
With the Latin alphabet.
Yeah. Well, this you all know, obviously. This is Ararat. The pictures you see are taken, unfortunately, from the Turkish side. When we went there, we had good weather. And this is, again, on the border, but on the Turkish side of the territory there. It's a beautiful mountain, Ararat. It was a volcano. Beautiful.
Actually, it's surrounded by 8 kilometers by Turkish territory, all over. So it's all over the area, it's all over Turkish.
It's very beautiful. It's over 5,000 meters, as you know. Scenographically, it's absolutely beautiful. This is again part of it. And then there's the Lesser Caucasus too. We went, was it May that time? I can't remember. It was spring, there was still snow, as you can see. And then the churches obviously have a major part, the monasteries, and so we have a chapter on that, obviously. You see some, it's interesting, the colours you can see from the mountain, very similar.
They are all made on tuff, yellow tuff.
Yellow, grey, yellow. Yeah. And then there are all these very typical, I would say, inscriptions on the outside of churches, mainly, but also on the inside, crosses, and then more motifs here. You can see smaller ones in the stone too, and larger ones. They decorate the churches, which are very simple. And then the famous kachkas, how do you pronounce them? Kachka. Okay. Very typical of Armenia, definitely. In Armenia, you still see them. I know that in Turkey, I think the biggest collection was in Turkey somewhere, completely destroyed.
And in Nagorno-Karabakh, then there was quite a few.
That's where the biggest was. Yeah,
that was the biggest.
Completely destroyed. I mean, this has been a cultural genocide.
Yeah.
Here you see more. I mean, you know them, very, very typical, very characteristic. This is in stone, it may be a Persian influence. Lake Van. Lake Van is a beautiful place. I mean, you read about it and you see it and it is beautiful. It's an enormous lake, and that's about 1,700 meters. It never freezes.
Because it's, the water is alkaline. It's 7.3, 7.4.
It never freezes, despite the height, and it snows a lot out there, but it never freezes. And it's a beautiful place.
Yes, this is one of cuts, like different types.
Yeah. I mean, again, you read about it, you don't believe it. And then you see it, and that's what they are. The eyes are different. And the legend says that the cats in Van swim. The legends behind that go back to Noah's Ark and the Ararat, but legends. And apparently they do swim. Well, cats, I mean, in the Isle of Man, they don't have a tail, is that right? So, no variations. The castle around Van. This is the island, of which I never remember the name, so I wrote it. Do you know it? What's it called? I wrote it here to remind myself, but you pronounce it certainly better. Very nice, with a beautiful, holy, this is that right? Holy Cross Church. Now this had been severely damaged but not destroyed. I think there was a writer, if I remember, in the area who stood up with the Turkish authorities and managed to avoid that it was completely destroyed. So then, for some lucky reason, it was reconstructed.
They allowed to put the cross on the church.
To put again the cross on the...
They had to ask for the permission to put the cross on.
And luckily they got it, and in 2010 this was open to culture, so it was actually...
And one mass a year is only one.
Very nice place. You can see details outside of the church. I must say, really lovely. And the inside is very nice too. This is well preserved. I'm saying this because we saw many in Turkey completely destroyed. Some, maybe some remnants, but very little. So, see, just imagine how much we've lost. I'll put it the other way around, but they're really beautiful. So this instead outside of Van, there's another castle, or what's left of the castle outside of Van. There's a very old bridge there. Now here there is this cuneiform alphabet. This is a Urarti Kingdom region, and not far, well, I don't know, 50, 60 kilometers from Van. And apparently there are 3 languages here in this. And the story goes that this gentleman here has been looking after this historical site for decades. In the book it's written, I don't know when he started. Legend or fact, it says that he learned to read these inscriptions, and the legend goes that only 38 people around the world can read this. True or not true? This is what he maintains, and on the internet you can read about it. I don't know, I know somebody who we know in Italy said that it's more than that, but anyhow, part of the history. So this is the 7, the complex of 7 churches, largely destroyed. You can difficultly get in. We had somebody go with us, and we managed to get in, and there's only one part of the 7 churches remain. The rest are completely destroyed. But you see inside what it must have been. You can see. So here we're moving, and we're going north from Van in Turkey. This is Erzurum. I don't know if you've been there. I went there for work. But you can see some is certainly of Armenian origin. I think the only bit from Armenian origin that is still...
The only thing left
I think from what I was told, it was the only part left of Armenia in Erzurum. It's inside one of the churches there. Now this is what they call the Ishak Pasha complex, and a mixture of styles. This is very close to the Ararat, obviously on the Turkish side. And again you can see some of the Armenian style here. It's a mixture of Ottoman and there are a number of churches around there, monasteries, all in typical style. This is the picture of the original picture where the cover of the book was, which I take this for the cover. Again, part of it was a small kitchen down there.
Okay, that's the Soviet Armenia.
Yes, we're going into part Soviet Armenia. I mean, this is life in Armenia nowadays. I mean, I don't know if you've all been to Armenia, or some of you certainly will recognize this. And they put together some Armenian, some historical memories of the Soviet period. Here's one.
Abandoned, all these factories are abandoned. No one works in there.
Totally
it's incredible.
You know, the Soviet Union divided the large country, and every country had something to do. So it's then it's finished, and it's just left as it was. And here is another example of
Armenia had to specialize in computers and mines of small mines of gold, of other metals.
Totally abandoned.
Totally abandoned. Yeah.
These were some of the houses of Soviet...
Khrushchevskis are called because they were done in the era of Khrushchev to host people from the countryside who went to the cities.
Yeah, this construction had very firm rules. So they were constructed very quickly, very basic, but that's what it was.
But you can imagine, there was terrace there, and of course they closed the terrace by doing windows and so on, so to increase the square meters of their houses. It was
all very small. This is instead the typical Armenian houses. Very different, much
in the countryside.
In the countryside, definitely. Travel around. Very nice. You see in spring, you see the trees in flower. These are very different and very nice. Inhabitants. I put this for you, Guglielmo.
Well, I bought tablecloth. I still have it at home. They are very, very nice. I like them. I will make something to put on the wall. These are areas. You see the
enormous nests.
Yeah.
They're very typical cranes and very typical. We've seen so many of them, enormous. And here they are.
Yeah. No.
I mean, really big. You see that down the road. I mean, it's. We're going towards Annie. We have a chapter on animals. I mean, you see the cats. You know, he's crossing in the cranes, and there are. So here we are in Venice. This is San Lazzaro degli Armeni, which is an island in Venice. That was given to Armenia many years ago, and you go with the boat, obviously being an island. You've got to book now. You can't just go there. You've got to book in advance, and then there's a dedicated vaporetto, we call them in Italy. You go to that place, which is very interesting. Here is San Lazzaro, and you can see how it's grown over the years. Yeah, it's got bigger.
Well, it was given by the Venice Republic to a group of people who left Istanbul, and with following a monk whose name was Mkhitaryan, and he had to leave because of the genocide. They went to Salonico, and the Republic of Venice gave them this small island where to reconstruct and to bring the treasures in terms of books, of everything they had got and taken from the Turkish Armenia to Greece to save the Armenian culture. And there is an enormous, a very big library where a lot of books in Armenian and so on are held and are kept and so on. So if you wish to study these books, you have to go there, because there are no other places where so many information about the ancient Armenia are still available.
Yes, so the very important library there, visited, very impressive, and also.
Yeah, because the first book in Armenian was printed in Venice.
Yeah.
And they had all these instruments for printing in Armenian and in different languages. They go back to 100 years, so very advanced. So you have a picture. When the book has more than one, if I remember well. In fact, there were many pictures of this.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's we move from Venice to
Naples. These are monks from Armenia who is said to have brought the remains of the illuminator to Naples. I don't know why. No one knows why they brought these remains to Naples in particular. I don't know many. And you can still see the skull of the illuminator in the church.
These paintings, more than one, are done by Luca Giordano, who is a well-known
famous Italian painter. Yeah.
The skull is here.
Okay.
So Italy is closely linked to Armenia. And we went with the ambassador in Italy, a lady, I can't, well, she'd written the preface to the book, so she came with us. And in fact, I don't have it here. No, I don't have it here. Anyhow, there's a plaque in the book. You can see there was this link between Italy and Armenia. This was signed with a plaque, which is next to the skull of Gregory the Illuminator.
I don't know if it is true. Still, it's a skull.
The story says it that way.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of the part. Then we put some individual aspects. I didn't hold. So this is related to wine. Now the funny story is that, as somebody knows in Rome, I'm teetotal. I don't drink anything that's alcoholic, and I never have done. Not because I was stopped. I never have. But I've written a chapter on wine, and this is because by chance I met somebody who was born in Iran, in fact, and went to Iran for the first time when he was grown up. And he lives in Italy, between Italy and, I don't know, somewhere else in the world. And he does something completely different, but he decided to go back to open up in Iran production of wine. There's a story, as you would probably know, I didn't know, obviously, my interest in wine was close to zero. The debate is always where exactly why it started. Now, this is a bit all fake because the Georgians say it's in Georgia, the Armenians say Armenia, which makes no sense because 6,000 years ago, in fact more than that. The region is that. The wine started there much earlier than in Greece and Rome, so that area is where the wine started. Now this comes from other things. This picture was taken in Iran, in Persepolis. And I've been to Persepolis, and this is the Armenian delegation offering wine to Darius the Great. So this I'd taken years ago, and it came very useful for the book, putting pieces together. So this is exactly what happened. And so wine is extremely important, and this guy is set up. The wine is, in the old days it was in vases. Special vases built, constructed in Iran, and I have pictures in the book that are taken.
In Armenia. It's Armenia. In Armenia, that place, and they found a big garage, I don't know English name, and they and they have like straw, many straws ways, and but that is in Armenia, not in Iran.
Esatto,
No,
I
said no, the Armenian. No, the wine is here. The wine from Iran, from Armenia. This is the Armenian delegation bringing their wine as a gift to
Iran.
To Darius, to the king.
Okay.
Yes.
But firstly, Armenian they
Questions afterwards, please.
And here you have the pictures of how they were done in Armenia, which is typical of that in these vases. Now this guy decided to try to reconstruct the old traditional way of making wine in Armenia, which I think is very worthy of it. That's what we managed. But it's I heard, Zorik, that's you. This guy is called Zorik too, where it comes to my mind right now. So wine is interesting for me, but the pictures are beautiful, though that part of Persepolis is beautiful. And then your carpet, obviously, I don't have to tell you. We have chapter carpet, and this is a Karabakh carpet. And I thought putting it because, apart the fact that they're beautiful, but they're very typical of that part of the world, as you know.
Well, actually, it is said that the
oldest,
most ancient carpet ever woven was done by Armenians, and it is now in the in a museum in St. Petersburg. It was found in Siberia, but it's still.
So a lot of things have come from Armenia. This is for sure. We have put something on music. Music is very popular in Armenia, and came across this. And we have to finish with cognac. Again, it's funny that I speak about cognac again. That's it. Churchill, as you know very well, liked the Ararat cognac, and every year this was sent.
Stalin was sending to him a calf bottle of hundreds of bottles.
The story goes
the story is that Churchill drank 1 bottle a day of he was
and the other story is that
very fond of Armenia.
Apparently he continued to send the cognac even after he died, so we don't know who.
After he died, he continued to.
So the Armenians are blamed for all his mistakes because he was drunk.
So I think we finish here. We have only one picture of the two of us.
A big Armenian feast.
But we pass this one quickly. How about that? Go back to another one. So that's
Thank you.